So you want to make your dream game, but you're new to game development and don't know where to start. Naturally, you will go to Google or YouTube and search for tutorials. Now you have followed along with a couple of tutorials and got the end results. Congratulations! However, you're still not able to do anything on your own, even after watching tons of tutorials. Then, my friend, you have fallen into the biggest pit or trap hole in game development. The infamous tutorial hell. Don't worry, it's very common as a beginner and you can definitely get out by watching this video. Now I'm going to be very honest with you, you won't magically find yourself outside the tutorial hell at the end of the video. It will require efforts from your end. As Arnold Schwarzenegger have said, there's no substitute for putting in the work. Not a sponsored segment, but I definitely recommend it. Now a hard truth of life first, if you want to make games but don't know how to program, be ready to get your hands dirty and learn how to program first. Pick any programming language and learn the basics of programming. Just to clarify, I'm not saying you should master any particular language. That probably requires a lifetime, but you should at least master the basics of programming. The time it takes differs from one person to another. Generally, it takes up to 3 to 6 months. Once the language of your choice clicks in your head, it is super easy to transition to another language. I first learned C, and it was super hard for me to grasp at first, but it finally clicked. Then learning C++, Java, PHP, Visual Basics, C#, or the latest GDScript was super easy. Last year, I ported my Unity game to Godot, and I decided to go with GDScript. I still remember I read the documentation for 3-ish hours, and then I was coding in GDScript. Now, I'm not bragging about my skills, just trying to convince you that the transition will be super easy. So TLDR, first learn programming basics. It is a prerequisite to develop a game. After that, I want you to change the way you approach the tutorials. You're probably watching tutorials in follow-along manner, meaning you're watching the tutorial and trying to replicate it in real time. Stop it. Don't do that. Here's what I want you to do. The next time you watch the tutorial, I want you to watch it entirely. Try to soak in as much as you can, and then once the tutorial is finished, only then go and try to replicate it. By doing that, what will happen is you will face problems, errors, which you generally won't by following along the same tutorials. Once the problem presents itself, don't be afraid. This is your golden opportunity. This is how beginners turns into intermediates. So when the problem presents itself, I want you to try to solve it on your own. I'm not saying you must solve it on your own, but I want you to give it a fair shot. Then if you're unable to solve it, at least try to figure out why you were having this problem. What is the reason behind this particular issue? Then you're allowed to get some external help. I don't care if you watch another tutorial, ask for help on online forums or subreddits, Google, ask your friends or colleagues, or even AI chatbots. But once you get the solution, I expect from you that you can answer 3 things. The exact reason why you were having the issue. How did you solve the problem, and why your solution is working. And have some integrity. For example, if you're having some syntax error, don't go like I was having syntax error, I copied the code from XYZ forum, and now everything is working. Be specific. Your answer should be, I was having syntax error because I forgot the semicolon on line number XYZ, or I misspelled the function or method name. I've corrected it, that's why my solution is working. It's a very crude example, but you get the point. This way, you will be able to solve similar problems in the future on your own. And I know this is time consuming, but if you want to learn, you should be willing to put in time and efforts, because as I've said at the start, there's no substitute for putting in the work. And by following this watch first then do approach, you will get comfortable with having problems and using the particular engine. You will get confidence, and trust me, you will feel it. Once you get to that point, the next time you watch the tutorial, and tutorials generally go like you want this output, then do this step 1, step 2, step 3, and you will get this output. What I want you to do is, try to justify those steps. Then try to figure out what would happen if you skip a particular step. Ask yourself, is there any alternative I could use? And all of this will require even more time than before. But if you can figure this stuff out, you will be able to pull yourself out from the tutorial hell. At that point, you won't actively search for tutorials to do stuff, just the documentation will do. Now, I'm not saying you should stop watching the tutorials after that, because then, what I will be going to do here. Just kidding, at that point you will only watch tutorials of your favorite creators because of course you want to support them, but just to see their perspective on a particular problem, like how they would approach a certain feature. And I want you to remember one thing in this entire process. Everything worthwhile in life takes time. And I think that's enough TED Talk for today. Definitely let me know your thoughts about it in the comments. That's it from me, and I'll see you in the next one.